What if you're not confused, you're just avoiding what you already know? We often say we're confused, but deep down the ache we feel is the cost of not listening. So in this video, I don't want to give you any cognitive advice. I don't want to help you get unconfused, unstuck, or any of that shit. I just want to help you get into your embodied honesty about where you are. So I'm going to call out the lie of being confused, the real reasons why you're avoiding clarity, and why your body already knows the truth, and how to move forward boldly without betraying yourself. Because the life you crave, the success, the creative expression that you know is possible cannot be built on self-abandonment. So if you're new here, my name's Kev. I'm an award-winning furniture designer, and I help ambitious creatives get into their body. So let's begin with the lie of confusion, right? The lie of confusion is that confusion feels safer than action. And this is precognitive, this is unconscious, right? So we can be graceful with ourselves, but now we become responsible. So why is it a lie that confusion is safer than action? Because it's perpetuating the perceived separation between where we are and where we want to be. The confusion is saying, I don't know how to get where I want to go. I don't know what to do next. I don't know X, Y, and Z, and thinking of that as a crutch, which further creates more distance and space between what you desire because you're stopped in time. You are not moving alongside of time. Action is a gesture, right? And it's very very Taoist, right? We don't know the truth, but we can always gesture towards it. And action is the way that we start to align ourselves, because it is a constant dance and a realignment process as we tap into what feels real, what might be true, take a step, readjust, feel, maybe get a cosmic 2x4 across the face that pivots for us. But as long as you're confused, you're basically off the hook from doing the brave thing, right? Because stepping forward with action is fucking brave. And that's an edge, right? We think it's safer to stay stuck and confused, but to whom is that safe? To your soul, that's fucking crushing and so dangerous. It's dangerous for your soul to be caged and contained, right? Your soul, your heart wants to be open and moving and expressed. And so the deeper truth is that your body knows and your mind is putting a governor on it. Your art knows. Your nervous system knows. You've always known what you want. It's just knowing is risking. And you might not be able to put it into words, but I know that you can connect to that feeling, you know. And I just want to call compassion for this while I lovingly bring it forward. We've all found ourselves confused, stuck, indecisive, lost, and it's a brilliant survival strategy, right? Because it just feels safer. But you're not here to survive, you're here to create. You're a beautiful, creative being. And I want you to cultivate the true safety, which is the safety to express yourself fully, right? Not to stay confused, not to perfect, not to procrastinate, but to realize that I create more of the life that I crave through movement. Clarity comes through movement, right? So if we're not doing that, what is the real reason we're avoiding clarity? Clarity is going to demand change, right? To act on what you know might mean you have to leave your safe little narrative you've created for yourself. You gotta risk being wrong, but there's no such thing as right and wrong. There's no right decision, there's no wrong decision, there's no good decision, there's no bad decision. There's just change, movement, action, decisions, presence. None of it's good or bad. There's all of them have learning lessons attached to them. And the density of which is dependent on what the circumstance happens to be. But when we risk being wrong, we risk being seen, rejected, misunderstood, all of those things. And that's a big change to embody. To step towards those things openly is what 99.9% of people avoid. And it's the exact reason why 99.9% of humans, let alone creatives, are not where they want to be in life. Do not feel like they have this raging fire to give the world. They don't feel like they have the connections and relationships that really bring them more alive. They don't feel like their work is impacting the world. Because clarity demands change. And so, if we fear that, we're gonna stay stuck. We're gonna create all this mental fog with looping, doom looping these stories, cycling information, delaying, spinning out, you name it, there's so many ways we adapt. But I know deep down that your soul is much louder than any strategy, right? So feel into what you already know and allow some space for that, just for a moment, even if it terrifies you. Because chances are you might not know how it's all going to work out, but you know what might feel most real to express next. Whether that's calling up your mom and telling her that you love her, whether that's having a hard conversation with someone you love, whether that's asking your boss for a raise, whether that's going out and collecting your eggs from your chicken coop and telling your chickens that you love them. I don't know, start small, right? And work your way up as you build trust with leaning into that edge and creating clarity through movement. So the reframe I want to offer you is, what if your body already knows, right? Your truth, and I know that's a slippery phrase, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But let's just say the truth lives in your nervous system before it ever hits your body. If you meet someone on the street and your nervous system activates and does not feel good, no amount of rationalizing that in your mind is going to change the truth of what's happening in your body. That's an intense example, right? But the tension, the gut reactions, the kind of quiet yearning and longing, these are all forms of your body knowing first. Then the mind superimposing logic, pros and cons, stories, information. The next thing you know, we have this much gunk on top of this pure feeling that was trying to be expressed through us. And I know it's paradoxical because I help people get into their bodies and embrace these things, but truthfully, you don't fucking need another course or a coach. Sure, I would love if you bought my training, but what you really need to listen to is your deep felt wisdom, right? You already have the wisdom that you need inside of you. The answers aren't out there, and anybody who says they're out there and you have to pay for it to get it is fucking bullshit. You already are connected to it, whether you believe it or not, and your practice is to create space for more of it to animate you, breathe you, and move through you. So action doesn't start with certainty, it starts with honesty, You have to stop outsourcing your truth and start inviting connection and intimacy with the feelings you're avoiding, with the muffled voice inside of you, right? That's going to take some serious devotion and edge stretching and breath. And paradoxically, that's what I have to offer you in the Embodied Creator Toolkit. So check that out if you're ready to do that work. So let's tie a bow on this by talking about how to move forward without betraying yourself, God, a phrase that I feel like I unconsciously operated. What I unconsciously operated under all the time is, what am I pretending not to know? Because I would pretend so much that I didn't know what I needed to do, that I didn't know what needed to be shed, that I didn't know X, Y, and Z. And that's a great place to start. But you have to stop pretending once you ask yourself that question. And a lot's gonna come up. There might be grief, there might be fear, there might be anger. In fact, there probably will be. If you're doing it, quote, deep or right, I don't want to say right. If you're doing this work deep, chances are there's going to be a lot of emotion that's going to well up because you see how much you've had to hold it all back and push it all down to stay small. But the bigness of you that's trying to animate through you needs to express some emotion to create some more space. That's part of releasing the fog. You know you're on the right track if you're fucking frustrated, angry, if you're crying, if you're grieving, you are 100% right where you need to be. That is your purpose. That is freedom. Even though we think that it's the opposite, right? So let your body lead. Let your body lead. Listen to your nervous system. Make space for your emotions. That's how you move forward without betraying yourself. It's not strategy, it's the somatic trust, right? That goes so far as a creative. So breathe into the place that you've been tensing around that holds your truth. You know, the deeper you go, the better. Go into your core, go into your root, you know. That is where your power is, and that's usually the kind of place we constrict all of our energy. So let yourself feel it. Let it be real, you know. It's not about getting to a place of clarity. It's just about embodying the courage to move towards it, you know. So what if you're not confused? You're avoiding what you already know. And what if all that you need to do is to stop thinking, set down the technology, and get into your body? And that's exactly what I want to invite you to inside of the Embodied Creator Toolkit and my newsletter, both of which are in the link in the description. So thank you for being here. I value you. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.